Hudson River, welcome to West Point, New York, where today the top collegiate men's gymnasts in America gather to decide the 2005 NCAA championship. Intensity, pain, punishment, the epitome of mainstream sports. Another group of athletes stand poised to enter those ranks, athletes who endure as much physical punishment for similar glories. The stage is set, glories within reach. It's now a matter of receiving their due respect. 1,500 cadets led the gymnasts into competition. 2 schools from the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation, 4 from the Big Ten Conference get together here in West Point, New York. One will surface as the 2005 NCAA national champion. Hi, everybody. Alongside Bart Connor, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, I'm Mike Gleason. It's great to have you with us. And, Bart, you can talk for hours about the thousands of hours and the numerous heartache for these gymnasts. But until you walk a mile in their shoes, it's really hard to understand what these guys go through.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Mike, because these are 72 of the toughest and strongest athletes in the world. They'll be competing for that national title tonight. And we'll be focusing, of course, on the 3 best teams. Ohio State is the #1 ranked team. Randy Monahan is the 2-time Big Ten all-around champion. He's their go-to guy, and they are a very senior and deep team. Justin Spring, he leads this young, electrifying team from Illinois. And look at this kid. He's a freshman, Jonathan Horton from Oklahoma. Pound for pound, one of the toughest athletes you'll ever see.
Top 6 teams in America. You mentioned the Buckeyes of Ohio State actually ranked #1, Illinois 2, Oklahoma 3. But the Fighting Illini qualifying with a 225-250. That is a school record.
They were spectacular, and that's the first time all year they've had their A lineup in. They surprised a lot of people with their very young team.
What about the rules for this event?
Well, the teams will be competing on all 6 events, 6 rotations. 6 gymnasts go up for each team on each event, but just the top 4 scores out of those 6 count towards the team total and the championship.
Well, the Nittany Lions of Penn State are the defending national champions, and they will open today on the rings.
My name is Steven Tobin. I'm from Penn State. We tasted victory last year. We want it again this year.
Well, Randy Jepson would love to have another ring for that finger, Bart. If he gets it, it'll be his 3rd. He won it in 2000, coming up from 6th. Last year, of course, they were the champions, but missing from last year's team, Kevin Tan, a 2-time champion. So Luis Vargas, the defending NCAA champ on the all-round, will start on the rings.
And not long ago, Luis actually damaged his thumb severely. He'll need surgery when the season's over. He damaged ligaments, and so he has been out of the all-around at the Big Ten championships, but he is in the all-around tonight, meaning he'll compete on all 6 apparatus. Watch for these positions. That cross is a little bit too high as he pulls from the cross up to what is called a Maltese cross. Keep in mind the judges are looking for accurate positions, and each of the hold moves have to be maintained for 2 seconds to get full credit. All right, double layout. Good solid landing there, Penn State. Pretty solid rotation on the rings.
Luis Vargas injured that thumb on March 13th. February 19th, he had first in 4 events against Michigan.
This angle is terrific to see what the gymnast sees as they're spotting the floor. There's the double layout, really nice form and execution, and you can't land any nicer than that.
Up next, the Oklahoma Sooners.
I'm Jamie Henderson. And I'm David Henderson, representing the University of Oklahoma. Our team is hardworking and well prepared, and we have fun.
And Mark Williams in his 6th season, the last of 4, 2 national champions, 2 runner-up. It's amazing. You know, you watch the Sooners too, Bart. It seems like they do have a good time when they're out there performing.
They do, and I'm really impressed with this team. They're really seeming to get it together towards the end of the season here. This young man, as we saw at the top of the show, Jonathan Horton, he's only 5'1", 122 pounds. But wait till you see what this kid can do. The key in the sport of gymnastics is your strength to weight ratio. And he is,
My name is Steven Tobin.
Enormously strong, very quick, and he can do lots of difficulty in these exercises. That, of course, is how you rack up the points. Go for the big skills. clean move called a Diamidov, invented by a famous Russian gymnast, and a solid pike double back at the end.
Up next, the Golden Bears of Cal on the horse.
My name is Graham Ackerman from Cal Berkeley, and our team has overcome so many obstacles this year that we deserve to do well.
Barry Weiner in his 14th season with the Golden Bears, a two-time MVP during his gymnastics days at Temple. And they'll be starting things off for the Golden Bears on the horse. This is Jay Yee. He was #1 in the qualifying session with a 9.725.
Impressive. I really like his technique. And now this is interesting because the teams have the choice of what events they compete on first in this competition. Illinois, the top qualifier, opted to begin idle. They're sitting out this first rotation. Cal drew the unfortunate position of having to start on the pommel horse. Now, some teams hate it because pommel horse is the beast. It's the most difficult event to start the meet on. But some teams like to choose it because they know if we can hit pommel horse, then we are home free for the rest of the meet. This isn't quite as clean as his performance in the qualifier, but I like the fact that he's gutting it out. He's hit the horse a couple of times, only minor form breaks, but he fought all the way to the end. Expect a solid score.
Jay Yee, the junior from Palo Alto, California. Next, we're headed for the high bars with the Michigan Wolverines.
Hey, what's up? My name is Justin Lowry, and I proudly represent the University of Michigan. We're focused, we're ready, we're determined to come out here with the championship.
And if they get it, Kurt Golder, it'll be a second. They won it in 1999. Golder, a former Michigan Wolverine, back in 1977, and starting things off on the high bar. Justin Lowry, the Big Ten Gymnast of the Year, taking it away from Randy Monahan of Ohio State this season.
He did win the Big Ten all-around championship very impressively a couple of weeks ago. He's got a terrific high bar routine. Mike, I think you like some of the release moves he does in the combinations. These are the things the judges are looking for. Watch the power and the speed as he cranks it. A laid out double over the bar. It's called a Kovacs, invented by a famous Hungarian gymnast. Hop, 1.5 turn. Here's a requirement where your body works in near the bar. Now he's a little sloppy, but I like the fact that he's gutting it out. They had a disastrous performance from Jeff Corrigan, only a 7.15, so they need a solid finish, and they got it from Lowry.
The junior from Marietta, Georgia, two-time Georgia Gymnast of the Year. A 9.5.
He had to struggle in some parts of this routine. It's good to have those big biceps. He could muscle it through if he had to. Couple of places where he was sloppy, but nice technique on the dismount. Double layout, double twist.
I'm Randy Monahan. I attend The Ohio State University. We're ranked #1, and now we're just looking for that national championship.
Miles Avery, if he gets it, it'll be his second. Avery, a longtime assistant for an old buddy of yours, Peter Corman. Won the championship in 2001, looking for it again this season. Here's Randy Monahan, two-time Gymnast of the Year before Lowry took over this season.
This is really the deepest team in the field. They had a disastrous performance on the pommel horse at the Big Tens and still came back to win the team title. Randy Monahan a little short on that. That's a double twisting Yurchenko. Shorter rotation, therefore lower score than you normally see from Randy.
A 9.250. What are they thinking as they approach the horse? I mean, the millisecond.
Well, certainly for the vault, you got to be aggressive. It's all about speed.
After the first rotation, Penn State, the defending champions, sitting on top of the board. Keep in mind, Illinois was idle. Each one of these teams will get their bye. And coming up next, the Fighting Illini of Illinois, their sights set on their first NCAA trophy since 1989. ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 2005 NCAA Gymnastics Championships, brought to you by the Home Depot. You can do it, we can help. Welcome back to West Point, New York, the beautiful Hudson River. We're inside the Hollader Center on the campus of the U.S. Military Academy. And we're all set to move into the second rotation here of the 2005 Men's Gymnastics Championships. Illinois, idle in rotation 1, will be on the floor. California on the rings. Penn State moves over to the vault. Ohio State on the parallel bars. Oklahoma on the horizontal bar. Up next, the Fighting Illini of Illinois.
Hi, I'm Justin Spring, and the reason the University of Illinois is going to win this national championship is because we've got the talent and the work ethic to do it.
Yoshi Hayasaki in his 29th season. He's been on that staff since 1974. Last year in 2004, he had the Fighting Illini ranked #1 for the first time in 15 years. And Bart, Justin Spring, the defending NCAA champ on the high bar, now opening up on the floor.
Boy, he is an explosive, exciting young gymnast. Watch this combination. Twisting combination, very clean landing for his opening tumbling pass. That combination of elements earns him 0.5 of a point bonus. Beautiful. Interestingly enough, last year, Illinois was favored to win, and they were at home, and they had a good meet, but Penn State just blew everybody out of the water, scoring 5 points higher than they had done in their season average to win. So the theme this year for Illinois has been unfinished business.
That's a great point. Despite losing to Ohio State at the Big Ten Championships, Illinois, they had a school record team score of 224-125. They topped that in the qualifying, as we said at the top of the
Watch
show.
this double-double. Oh! A major mistake for Justin Spring at the end. He had it effortlessly. A double twisting double at the end. Couldn't control the landing. This guy's just too springy.
Let's move over to the high bar right now. Taki Abdullah Simmons, a freshman from Philadelphia. Bart, this young man recruited by Michigan, Ohio State, Cal, Penn State, Illinois, all the heavy hitters.
You know, he told the coaches tonight before the meet, he hasn't done the all-around since last year at the Olympic trials in the summer. He said, I feel good. I'm going to do the all-around tonight. So head coach Mark Williams says, okay, if you think you can do it, let's go for it. And he's a very focused young man. You talk about a talent. This guy has everything. He has the strength. He has the technique. Look at the beautiful form, rhythm, and execution. He really has it all. A complete gymnast. A couple of the other scores on the previous performers. James Myers had a 9-4. He was the first to go. David Henderson had a slight miss, only a 9.0, so they knew a good routine here.
Taki Abdul Simmons, only a freshman, competed at the U.S. Olympic trials.
Watch these combinations of pirouetting skills, emphasizing his technique. When you combine these pirouette skills back to back, you can earn bonus points. Look at the form and execution, just a little unlucky on the landing. You need to stick those landings to win the team title tonight.
A 9-150 for Abdullah Simmons. Let's move to the rings now. And the Golden Bears of Cal, Hiroki Yokoyama, a sophomore from San Diego, California.
Scored a 9.0 this year in the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Championship on the ring, so he's a solid performer here. Cal was unfortunate in their opening rotation on the pommel horse. One of their star performers scored only a 7.2, so they'll need to make up some ground here. Nice position there on that Maltese cross. Bounce back to another Maltese cross. Combining those skills together earns him not only the skill for the move, but skills for combination bonus. Nice work. You need to show swings to handstand, press to handstand. Good control of the rings. This is a solid set. Might be looking at one of his best routines of the year. Unlucky on the landing, over-rotated.
Take another look at it.
Good clean strength positions. This is a double back with a full twist, and he just pulls it around too far. I don't understand why he couldn't spot the landing a little sooner.
A 9-4 for Hiroki Yokoyama of Cal. Let's go to the parallel bars now with the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Another top freshman of the country. This is DJ Booker. He had a 9-6 in qualifying.
But you see his technique. He does the most outrageous level of difficulty. He's a very short young man, and that's an advantage in this event because he can swing almost completely straight body through the bottom on some of these moves. Underbar swing is a requirement. Look at that technique. Beautiful. Kicked out on that giant to a double back. You're looking at a solid score there. Very good combinations.
Won the parallel bars 7 times this year, never finished lower than second. There's a 9-6-5-0. Let's go to the vault with Penn State. Chad Busick, he had a 9-3 in qualifying for the Nittany Lions.
He's going to do a double twisting vault. It's the Sukahara style vault, double twist, and not very good control on the landing. Not only did he take a step, but outside the line, so that'll deduct from his score a little bit. Let's take a look at his technique. Really powerful. He's built for vault. You can see he's really explosive. Good push off the horse. He has very good height, good distance from the horse.
Chad Busick of Penn State with a 9.250 on the vault. Back to the high bar. Jonathan Horton of Oklahoma. Mark Williams says this young man will dazzle you up there.
He will, and he's going to risk his life 3 times. I swear he does 3 high-flying release moves. Few people dare to do more than 1, and he's going to go for 3 huge ones. Here comes the first one. Look at the speed. This will be a double layout over the bar. Nice. Okay, this one will be with a full twist. Ooh. Oh, right on the end of his fingertips. And there's one more, Mike. Incredible.
Wow, that's amazing.
And they needed a clutch performance. They had a low 9.0 and a 9.15. He took such risk in this routine.
Oh.
And drills it.
He's feeling good.
Oh, I love those release moves. And then he finished with a gigantic dismount. It's a double back, laid out with a double twist. He's so quick. Watch the aggressiveness off the bar. He's up there about 12 feet in the air, and he lands like a dart going into a dartboard.
Again, great gymnastics.
A 9.650. You said he needed a good one. He got it. The NCAA championships, Coca-Cola, nothing like it. Minnesota's Guillermo Alvarez was named this year's winner of the Nissen Emery Award, the equivalent of the Heisman Trophy of men's gymnastics.
Injuries. How many injuries have I had? I've had a few.
3 fractured ankles.
2 fractures in my lower back, one on my left side and one on my right side.
It was a stress fracture. I'm not even sure how I did it.
That was not fun.
I tore my Achilles tendon.
I've had 4 major wrist surgeries. It's really taxing on your body, especially when you start to get older. You start to fall apart real quick.
These are just typical things that all gymnasts go through. And if you're not hurting now, then by this time part of the season, then I guess you haven't worked hard enough.
You buy into that?
Well, these guys are all pretty beat up. There's a lot of anti-inflammatories being passed around this building, that's for sure.
We're back at the campus of the U.S. Military Academy in West Point. After 2 rotations, Penn State, the defending champions, sitting on top of the board, but again, a little deceiving because of the buys.
It certainly is, and they started on 2 of their best events. They have yet to go to the lower scoring events, which are coming up next for them.
Rotation 3, Michigan goes to the floor. Now keep in mind, Oklahoma will be idle this time. The Buckeyes will be on the horizontal bar. Let's go to the horse right now. Illinois' Wes Hagenson, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year.
This is an impressive young gymnast. A couple of weeks ago at the Big Tens, he sprained his ankle badly, wasn't able to do the all-around. So here today, he's competing in 5 events. Will do everything but the floor. I've known this young man since he was a junior gymnast. I've seen him throughout the competitions in the Midwest. He is always very technical, clean, hard-working young man. Very nice technique as he travels back and forth across the horse in combination. That earns bonus points. He's having to grit it there a little bit. But he fought through to the end. A little sloppy. That will affect his final score. But you need the first guy to go out and hit a routine. I know he wanted it to be a little bit cleaner, but at least he didn't make a major error. Expect probably a low 9. You can see he started breaking form, but he did not give up. And that's the important thing in today's team competition, is to bank some solid scores. You don't have to get the 9.9s yet, but some solid scores.
Well, 9.150. Hagenson, only a freshman 2 years ago. He was first on the high bar and horse at the 2003 U.S. Championships. Let's go to the high bar now. The Buckeyes of Ohio State, 1, 2, 3 in the country. This is Ron Ferris. He was second in qualifying to Willie Ito.
You can see their average scores for the year. This is just a remarkable team. So far, Grant Osborne had an 8.9. Cody Chabot had a 9.2. DJ Booker missed slightly, only had an 8.85, but the studs are coming up now. Ron Ferris is the first among them. You know what I like about this Ohio State team? They go for hard routines. They do not hold back and play it safe. Very aggressive hop double turn to a hop 1.5. Nice combination.
Oh, he stuck that one nicely.
Boom, that's nice.
Ronald Ferris, the junior from Austintown, Ohio, the 2004 and 2005 Big Ten champion on the high bar.
Beautiful. There's the hop double turn. That's tricky. And then you followed up with a hop 1.5. And I sure loved how he drilled that dismount. Boy, good stuff for Ohio State on the high bar. You can see why they have dominated this event all year long.
A 9.850 for Ron Ferris. Second in qualifying. Great score for the Buckeyes. Let's go back to the horse with Illinois. Ben Newman, a 3-time Big Ten champion.
Interesting thing has developed over here. Tyler Yamauchi had only a 7.7. Peter Shushchuk had a 9.45. But Ted Brown, just before this, had only an 8.4. And he is normally a star. They need a good performance here on the pommel horse for Illinois. Ben Newman, of course, he is very strong on this event. I love his technique.
It's amazing. When he was a kindergarten.
Oh, he's down. Now that's a shocker. They needed a solid score, and typically they get a solid score from Newman.
I jinxed the young man. I was going to say when he was a kindergartner, he didn't like the pommel horse.
Well, he's excellent on the horse and the rings. You know, this is a very uncharacteristic start. Illinois opened to begin the competition in the idle round. They took a bye. Then they started on floor, which was reasonably good, but they had a disappointment from Justin Spring, who normally can score a 9.7 or a 9.8, score lower than typically, only a 9.1. This is disastrous for them on the pommel horse. You count on from Ben Newman to get a very high 9, and they're looking for maybe some score in the 8s.
8.975 to Ben Newman, the 3-time Big Ten champion. Back to the high bar. Number 1 in the country, Willie Ito. 9.8 in qualifying, number 1 in qualifying. Keep in mind, Ron Ferris with a big score for the Buckeyes already on the high bar.
Ohio State started on the parallel bars, which is typically the lowest scoring event. They were solid there. Not spectacular, but solid. This is where, if they hope to rack them some points, they can do it with this trio of high bar stars. Oh, I love this technique. Very difficult in-bar work. Hop pirouettes to these L-grip giants, and in combination with a laid-out front release move. Beautiful work. Look for a big score. Oh my goodness. That's Doug Steibel, assistant coach. He's been there before, been on those championship teams.
Willie's jacked up, huh? Let's take another look.
Boy, he has it all. Beautiful technique. Look at the form and execution. That's a double layout with a double twist. Look how early he spots the floor and just drills it.
Wow, great focus. Willie Ito, number 1 in the country. Great performance for Miles Avery and the Buckeyes. A 9.90 for Willie Ito.
And they're not done. They got one more guy, Monahan.
Wow, let's go to the vault now. Here's Graham Ackerman, a senior from Seattle, a 6-time All-American defending champ on this event.
He is the NCAA champion. Watch this complex vault. 2.5 twister. Oh! Oh, my goodness. I hope he's okay. A landing like that is disastrous on your knee.
Tough break. Let's go to the floor. Michigan's Luke Bodke finished 5th last year at the NCAAs as a sophomore.
Wow, we hope Ackerman's okay. Only an 8.975. Not what Cal expected from him. Normally a high to mid-9 for him there. Take a look at some of the other scores for Michigan on this event. Eddie Humphrey had a 9.525. That's their high score so far. A miss, unfortunately, from Jeff Corrigan, who has been hampered by an ankle injury this year. He was only 8.85. Justin Lowry had a 9.3. This is all about the team today, and I think that's the most important thing to focus on. 6 athletes on each event. You count just the best 4 scores. So you can have 1 or 2 weak performances, but you got to bank 4 solid routines. They have a 9.325, a 9.525, a 9.3, so they're looking for a mid to high 9s here to finish off a solid team rotation. Unfortunately, a weaker dismount, round-off whip to a full, not the highest level of difficulty, but a decent score, actually.
9.375. He had a 9.4 in qualifying. Back to the high bar. Willie Ito with a 9.9. Ron Ferris with a great performance. Now, another Buckeye, Randy Monahan.
I can't believe it can get better, but it might. This guy is one of the most complete gymnasts I've ever seen.
Twice named Big Ten Gymnast of the Week in 2005.
Watch this. Look at the speed. Beautiful full twisting double over the bar in combination with a hop 1.5 to L grip. It's tough to do these moves, but when you back them up with another move, you earn connection bonus for doing two difficult skills back to back. That's tough. Now here at these championships, there's also a special rule in effect. If you do a especially difficult dismount and you stick it, you can earn an extra 1/10 of a point bonus. Boom! He's going to get it with that. Stuck the landing.
Back to back to back great landings. Monahan, just like Willie Ito, a 9.90. And let's look at the standings now. After 3 rotations, the Buckeyes of Ohio State and Penn State. The Buckeyes coming in ranked #1 in the country. The Buckeyes will be idle on the next rotation. The Penn State gymnasts have last year's national title fresh in their minds as they look for a repeat in 2005.
It was fantastic. It was like an explosion of energy. Like right when Randy came up to the team and told them that we won, everybody just started screaming and jumping up and down. It was something I'll never forget. It was awesome.
Welcome back inside the Holiday Center in West Point, New York. Now, last year, the Penn State Nittany Lions grabbed the national title, their second since 2000. They arrived at the Nationals ready to show their swagger that comes with knowing they had a ton of talent.
And we walked in the gym to compete last year. Everyone had a sense that it was, almost destiny. We were prepared. This year, I've tried to put that out of our head. When we walked in the gym the first day, I remarked to the guys, look at the banners on the wall. Those are from the history. And as far as I'm concerned, last year's banner was history.
Here's your past champions, the Nittany Lions, of course, in 2004. We mentioned the Oklahoma Sooners. They've had 2 championships and 2 second-place finishes in the last 4 years. Headed for rotation #4. Penn State, the defending champions. The Nittany Lions will be opening up on the high bar. Oklahoma on the floor. And the Illinois with the top qualifying score coming in, trying to climb back into this. They've had a couple of biffs, as Bart would say. They'll be on the rings. And Luis Vargas now on the high bar for Penn State. So Luis Vargas, the NCAA champ in the overall, first since 1973 at Penn State. You talk about that thumb, the torn ligaments. How much psychologically is that bothering him right now?
Well, he puts it behind him, certainly. I mean, this is one superstar of a gymnast, went to the Olympics in Athens, and he knows how to manage pain. I think that's part of the theme of tonight's show. We talk about how tough these young men are. So when you're in the national championship, you can look beyond it. But he will have to have surgery when the season's over, that's for sure. Just so impressed with all of his skills and his technique. He's got the perfect physique for gymnastics. Really strong, really light. The best score so far, Ludwig Kern had a 9.5 for Penn State. Otherwise, Tommy Ramos had only an 8.45. He normally is pretty solid on the high bar, so they need a strong performance here from Vargas. Penn State slipping a little bit after such a terrific start. Steve Tobin also had a 9.2. There's the dismount. Really nice mechanics in the air. One step on that landing, that's a 1/10 of a point. You got to stick him at the Nationals.
Well, Vargas last year at the NCAA set personal highs in 4 events. Set over the rings now. Ben Newman took a second at the Big Ten championships. Newman, we talked about that 3 Big Ten championships on the horse. He biffed a little on the horse.
Wow, and normally you expect a huge score for this young man, only an 8.975. The wheels came off for Illinois on the pommel horse. Interestingly enough, they chose to start on the bye. I thought that was a good strategy, and then they just had a disaster on the pommel horse, and that can happen. That's the type of event that pommel horse is. And once one person falls, it becomes almost contagious. Everybody else tightens up a little bit. stop swinging through their routines, and more mistakes happen. They're doing better on rings, however. Wesley Hagenson had a 9.35. Zach Gorin a 9.125. A low score for John Drolander. It's good that he's recovered from that unfortunate pommel horse routine. Solid finish on the rings, but you can see the disappointment in his face that he hasn't delivered what he normally does for his team.
It's a good point. He said two things on his mind coming in: captain a national championship team and win a national title on the horse. Of course, the individuals be coming up after the team competitions. A 9.650 for Newman on the rings. Let's go to the floor now. Oklahoma's Dave Iamateo.
Oh, you're going to love this kid. He is one of the most explosive gymnasts, and they call him Diesel Dave, and you'll see why. Watch this opening sequence. Solid. I asked him before the meet, I said, what do you weigh, by the way? He goes, about 165. I said, oh, come on, really? He goes, okay, maybe 190. But I've never seen a guy 190 do this move. Watch this. Layout double full.
No, that is impressive.
Unbelievable.
You know, Bart, in 2004, he says he will always remember when he stuck his landing in the vault, because it was a great feeling knowing he delivered when his teammates needed him. And so many of these athletes, it's not individual, it's all about the team, isn't it?
It is, and he's one of those team spirit leaders. He's always cracking jokes and keeping the guys loose. He said his most influential person in his life is Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, because he makes good food. You got to love this guy.
He's not going to love you after that.
He's from Long Island. He said his family came here to see him compete just down the road from here. Major in criminology, and he has been a real inspiration for this team because he keeps these guys pumped up. Looking for a big finish for Iamateo. Double layout. Solid.
Nice. Good focus.
Look at that spirit. That's the kind of guy you need on your team right there.
Now the arm's flailing back. Does he get any deductions?
It will be a slight deduction if you don't stick it or if you have to move your arms to maintain the balance, but I don't think he cares at that point. It'll be a good score.
A 9.425 for the Oklahoma Sooner. Let's go to the rings now. Tyler Yamauchi, just a freshman. He set the school record in this event against Iowa this year with a 9.850.
Be very interesting to see if Illinois can continue to regroup. They have scores that are low to mid nines on this event. They could use one more big score if they're going to hope to work their way back up onto the podium. Yamauchi can do it. I love this combination. That back roll around is called an Azarian. It was invented by a former Soviet gymnast, Albert Azarian. Most of the skills in gymnastics are named after the first gymnasts who performed them successfully in a major world competition. And so we have our own lingo, you know. There's a Yamawaki to there is a Bart Connor, but it's too easy now. My routines that I won Olympic medals with 20 years ago would score about a 7.8 now.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding you.
Really?
These guys are so much better than we were. I'm really impressed with their skill level, strength, and technique. Everything on the rings is about control, form, and connecting strength moves. He doesn't have as clean of a body line as some of the other gymnasts, but there's no question that he had the strength in the exercise, which is where he'll get most of his bonus points from.
Yamauchi, a freshman from Sugar Land, Texas, a 9.675. Recently named co-gymnast of the week in the Big Ten Conference. Over on the parallel bars now, another freshman, Colin Christ from Palm Harbor, Florida.
This has been an unlucky day so far for Cal after that unfortunate landing for Graham Ackerman on the vault where he was the reigning national champion. Barry Weiner told us before the competition that he said, you know, we don't quite have the horses this year. He knows it, and he said we don't have any depth, so we're going to need to just be right on if we're going to finish well. Ackerman had a 9.1 on this event. Normally scores a little bit higher. Their other scores are all in the 8s.
Weiner also saying they love this young man's never say die attitude. A 9.10 for the freshman for the Golden Bears of Cal. So the Nittany Lions of Penn State sitting on top of the board, 149.650. Then the Golden Bears coming in second. The Buckeyes of Ohio State, they were idle, number 4. Coming up, we'll send Bart downstairs to teach us some tricks of the trade on the high bar as the 2005 Men's National Gymnastics continues from West Point, New York. Welcome back to West Point, New York, the site of the 2005 Men's NCAA Gymnastics Championship. Alongside Bart Connor, a 2-time gold medalist, I'm Mike Gleason. Great to have you with us. A beautiful part of the country. Now let's take a look at the Home Depot Coaching Clinic, brought to you by the Home Depot.
High bar is certainly one of the most spectacular and sometimes dangerous events in men's gymnastics. I'm often asked, how do you guys hang on? Well, the trick is this little hand guard. It's called a grip. It's made from suede, but the key is this little dowel rod right here in the end by your fingertips. Now, a gymnast breaks these in much like a baseball player breaks in a glove. You form a little pocket there, and that allows you to hang on the bar after those high-flying release moves. You have to remember, when you catch the bar, you got to hook the dowel over the bar. If you catch it here or behind, bing, you're gone. In order to get a good score on the high bar, the gymnast must show skills from 5 different element groups. One is like this, a long hang swing with or without a turn. The gymnast must also demonstrate what is called an in-bar skill, where the feet or hips come in close to the bar and then back out again, like this. The gymnast must also demonstrate a skill called a dorsal grip or an L grip. Notice his arm is completely twisted as he does these invert giants around the bar. Another requirement, and of course a fan favorite, are the high-flying release moves. And of course, the 5th and final requirement is a spectacular dismount. Nice going. Well, although it's not a requirement, gymnastics fans know if you want to get a good score, you got to stick the dismount.
Well, Bart, nice job by Mike Tiffany of Army, a key to the Black Knights' 12 wins, including an ECAC championship this year.
Yeah, good going.
Going to break. Penn State, of course, on top of the board. The Nittany Lions idle this time. The Buckeyes will be on the floor. The Golden Bears of Cal on the high bar. That's where we're headed right now with Graham Ackerman. Second on the high bar at the 2004 NCAAs. He took the conference championship on the high bar this year.
Boy, he has beautiful technique. Colin Chris had a 9.525 just before that. They had a 9.4 from Mark Freeman. Jason Pierce a 9.20. So they can get a good team score here if he can finish off this rotation. Oh, look at that beautiful mechanics. Just incredible how fluid his movement is. That's what I love about this young man's style and technique. A lot of flexibility in the arm joint, so he can do those inverted giant swings where the arms are twisted, as we saw on that demo piece. There's an in-bar skill we also focused on. He's fulfilled all the requirements. There's the last requirement is the dismount, of course, and boom, he stuck it.
Nice job, Graham Ackerman.
Good that he's okay. You know, he hurt that knee a little bit when he stung it, landing that vault short, but he was solid there.
Well, last year at the NCAAs, the 4th Golden Bear to earn 4 All-American honors in the same night. Graham Ackerman, a 9.7. Incidentally, nice job on the Home Depot Coaching Clinic. I almost wanted to climb up there on the bar myself.
I'll give you the pommel horse next time.
Here's Cody Chabot of the Buckeyes now over on the floor. He had a 9.425, tied for 5th in qualifying.
Talked about their team depth. They can have some mistakes and still contend for the title here. That's how strong they are. Look at some of their previous scores. Their first guy out of the box, Grant Osborne, had a 9.325. The other scores are in the low 9s from Ibrahimi, Ferris, and Wickham.
Chabot, the senior from Dallas, Texas, one of the co-captains for the Buckeyes.
He said his best personal moment in gymnastics, of course, the Big Ten team championships twice, but they're looking for an NCAA championship. They have the horses to do it tonight, I'll tell you that. He's had ankle surgery, several ankle injuries. You can imagine the strain on your ankle when you land a dismount like this.
Oh.
Nice.
Qualified for the NCAA individual event finals in floor, rings, and parallel bars. 3 years, a 9.250 for the Buckeye. Going from a Buckeye to a Michigan Wolverine. How's that transition? Eddie Humphrey tied for 4th in qualifying with a 9.60.
I've known Eddie also since he was a young man. Of course, his 2 brothers were fine national team members and outstanding gymnasts. Cheney, his oldest brother, was a member of the Olympic team in '96. Now he's an orthopedic surgeon.
Really?
Probably have a few
predicted
gymnasts.
he'd do that, right?
He told me I'm going to be an orthopedic surgeon.
And you didn't believe him.
He did. He made it. I'm happy for him. Of course, we talk about all these gymnasts getting injuries. I'm sure he'll have plenty of gymnasts in his waiting room. He knows how to fix them up. This is a good set here. Eddie's doing a terrific job already. Jeff Corrigan had a 9.375 for them. The other scores are in the high 8s, so they need a big routine right here. Humphrey can do it. Good control. Little swing in the rings. Every time the wing swing, it's a 1/10 of a point deduction.
A 9.525 for Eddie Humphrey. Let's go to the horse now. Jamie Henderson of Oklahoma. The lone returning All-American for the Sooners.
Check some of their scores. A 9.4 to Taki Abdullah Simmons, which was, he said, as the last-minute inclusion in the all-around. Henderson can really swing the pommel horse. Look at him just swing it out there. Good combinations of difficulty. Aggressive. Uh-oh. He's fighting. Oh. I tell you, when you fall off any apparatus, you lose a half a point, and then you have to continue your exercise from where you fell.
Bart, that has to hurt.
It does hurt, and it's going to hurt his score and the Oklahoma team score. They normally expect a big score, mid to high 9s for Henderson on the pommel horse. You not only lose the deduction for the fall, but you lose the potential bonus for connecting skills. You lose the skill value. This is going to be tough.
This junior from Crosby, Texas, took a first on the horse at the conference championships.
His teammate Brian Carr had a 9.3, so again.
Loss
now
of
this
focus.
Is shocking. Well, it looked like he might have hurt himself a little bit when he fell the first time, but yeah, he needs to just dig in here and fight through to the end of this routine. That's going to be a disastrous score. Hard to say what happened here. He's doing a very complex skill, traveling back across the horse, back up to the pommel. This is tough stuff. I mean, he's going for an extremely difficult routine. But he gets off this pommel here, and he's trying to fight it to see if he can finesse some way of getting back in control, but there was no way.
2 years ago when they won the national championship, he was the only freshman to collect All-America honors. There you see a 7.90. Tough break for Jamie Henderson. Let's go to the vault now. Justin Spring, the Big Ten champion in this event.
We've documented that they have struggled today, and that's unfortunate. Yoshi Hayasaki, the head coach, told us that this team is about 60% of his scores come from freshmen, so you never know what you're going to get. But ironically, the freshmen have done extremely well today. It's the upperclassmen who have struggled a little. This is one of the more difficult vaults being done in the competition, a 2.5 twister. Good push. He's just short of rotation, but a good fight to stay on his feet. It would have been very easy to fall down on that. Good struggle.
Justin Spring, an All-American as a freshman and a sophomore, hoping to do the same his junior season for the Fighting Illini of Illinois. The standings after 5 rotations, the Golden Bears of Cal on top of the list. The Buckeyes of Ohio State, Oklahoma, Penn State, followed by Illinois and the Michigan Wolverines. Men's gymnastics, a lot more than just dedication. Staying healthy, also key.
I mean, on any given day, a gymnast has got something wrong with them. Or
I broke both my ankles.
I've been pretty fortunate. Nothing too serious.
Broke my hand, my wrist.
And some tendonitis in my elbow.
And just fingers and toes, just a bunch of them. I do it because it's really challenging.
I absolutely love to do this sport.
It's the only sport you can just mess around, have so much fun, and flip around and just challenge yourself mentally and physically.
I just love the sport, and I know that love in my heart, is always going to be there. So it's been there since I was little.
He's actually the better one now. I kind of passed the torch a couple of years ago, so I'm kind of playing catch up with him.
and he has beautiful gymnastics, and so, yeah.
So baby brother arrives on campus and turns up the heat. Welcome back inside the Holliday Center. West Point, New York, the campus of the U.S. Military Academy. And the Penn State Nittany Lions looking to repeat as champions. They will open on the floor. The Buckeyes on the horse. And Illinois trying to play some catch-up now. Let's go to the rings. Mubarak Abdul-Simmons, 9.525 in qualifying. But Kenny Lynn of Iowa had a 9.850.
This is an outstanding event for the Oklahoma Sooners. They are really deep here nationally. They've been very consistent. I expect that if they make a move towards winning the title, it could come here on the rings. Every team so far today has struggled a little bit on the pommel horse. Illinois the worst. Oklahoma struggled a little bit. But when you got a first guy in your lineup, and typically you start with your weaker gymnasts and build to your better ones, this is the first guy up, and look how good he is.
Mubarak coming off of shoulder surgery this past summer, another injured gymnast. That list is long, isn't it?
And the shoulders do take a beating on the rings. There's no question about it. Look at the control, though. The rings are completely still. Beautiful body line. A little swing there in that giant to the handstand. But he drills the landing.
He sticks it. Another look at it, Bart.
Oh, I really like this team on the rings. Nice form. They show good position in all the strength moves and good combinations of strength moves. Mark Williams, you see, he knows Oklahoma's starting to turn up the heat.
Let's go over to the horse right now. Randy Monahan, a four-time All-American for the Buckeyes of Ohio State.
So far, the other two performances, Chris Klein had an 8.975, Grant Osborne a 9.275. So this has been the beast. The pommel horse, some gymnasts call it the pig because it is not the most glamorous of the gymnastics events, but is certainly the most difficult. And all of these gymnasts will tell you.
What did you call it?
The beast.
The beast.
You gotta like Monahan, though. You know, even when he's off, he just keeps cranking. He really put the arm on it, and you gotta love that fight. It wasn't beautiful, and you can see it in his face, but it wasn't a disaster.
Over on the rings, Kyle Fernandez, a senior from Stratford, Connecticut, getting set to go.
Interesting story about this young man. He tore his bicep last year in competition. I was at the meet. He was competing at home and tore the long head of his bicep, so he had to have reattached. And here he is just about 14 months later, and he's doing some outrageous strength moves. Nice combinations. This is a very good event for Oklahoma. All year long, very solid on this event. Mubarak Abdullah had a 9.5, and he was the first guy to go.
A strong performance.
Solid control. Nice going.
A 9.375 for Kyle Fernandez. Over on the parallel bars now, Adam Plummer, a junior from Allentown, Pennsylvania, ranks second in the nation. At the Big Tens, he finished third behind DJ Booker and Justin Spring.
This is a great event for him, and they're really not out of the running. I swear if they can get a couple of more good performances put together, they still have a chance for a podium finish today. I'm not sure after that disaster on the pommel horse that they're thinking about the top rung of that podium, but oh, that's nice. A little sloppy, couple of form breaks, but a lot of difficult combinations in this routine. Stuck the landing.
Adam Palmer pulls it a 9.775. Steve Tobin, captain for the Nittany Lions of Penn State.
Check their scores. Helsby had an 8.65. Matt Bowman an 8.6. Santiago Lopez. Uh-oh. It was a 9.3 for Lopez. He missed that combination there a little bit in the opening tumbling run. He was supposed to do 3 moves connected. He only did 2, so he'll lose the potential bonus points. Oh, and again, missed the combination. This is going to be a disastrous score, unfortunately. normally you can expect a solid score from Tobin. Luis Vargas before him had a 9.45. Floor exercise is also a tricky event because the gymnasts get their bonus points from connecting these bounding skills. Now, if you're a little bit overjuiced and not necessarily in control, if you miss one of these connections, you lose not only the break for the fall, but you lose the potential connection, and that can be disastrous to your start value.
You were a gold medalist, but when you biff early, you're a senior, it's your last go-around. How do you retain your focus? How difficult is that?
Well, you know your team's counting on you. This is very different than the mindset of an individual competition. He knows he's got to finish as strong as he can because they need 4 solid scores out of 6 to add to the team total.
Steve Tobin, the senior for the Nittany Lions, an 8.350. Ron Ferris of the Buckeyes all set to go on the horse.
You see his average there, 9.517 for the season. That's tough on the pommel horse to consistently score that well. A lot of pressure on the pommel horse here at these NCAA championships. We've seen several gymnasts struggle. This really is the gut check event. Nice swing. I like that he's aggressive. Now, he's not quite as stretched out as some of the other gymnasts. You notice his body's piked a little bit. But he's very assertive throughout the exercise, and that's what you need in a team meet.
Now the junior from Austintown, Ohio, pulls in a 9.475. When we come back, we'll take a look back to yesteryear. The 1960 flying rings champ from Army will join us here in West Point, New York. Welcome back to scenic West Point, New York, on the campus of the U.S. Military Academy, the 2005 Men's NCAA Gymnastics Championships. Along with Bart Connor, I'm Mike Gleason. It's great to have you with us, and we're joined by a special guest. This is John Aronson, the 1960 flying rings champion. Not the rings champion, the flying rings champion. A little bit more difficult with the flying rings, huh?
It required a little bit more finesse and less strength, but I miss it.
I love the flying rings. I thought that was some of the most fun gymnastics. They, of course, had it as a major national competition, but they don't have it anymore, do they?
It's sorely missed.
Yeah, it is good fun.
Well, John, your thoughts on the event so far?
Oh, these guys are world class, through and through, and much more so than in our days, where we were just kind of bumbling, and once in a while we'd come through with a champion, and we're lucky. So,
yep. Jonathan Horton on the rings from Oklahoma. This guy is only 5'1", 122 pounds. And as I said earlier, pound for pound, one of the strongest guys in the world. You see these strength combinations that he does now, John.
Yep.
You did a pretty good iron cross. Did you imagine they'd be doing these many iron crosses in a routine?
I'd much rather see the swinging and the finesse and the grace than the strength.
Now you had to do the iron cross with swinging, right? I mean,
that was not part of my routine, but we could do it. We did the handstands going back and forth and pendulum swings at very great heights. We did release moves while we're swinging. And I was working on a triple dismount in the back end of the full swing at the end.
Well, the style has changed over the years because years ago swing was what it was all about. It's going back to strength. And, of course, you take a look at Jonathan Horton's routine. He had a good combination of swing and strength.
It was terrific. It was terrific. These guys are world class. And I give credit to folks like Bart and Nadia and those folks for bringing this sport into where it is today.
John, thanks for stopping by. It's certainly a pleasure to see you.
And you guys are doing a terrific job bringing more and more exposure to gymnastics. Great sport.
All right, thanks, John. John Aronson, the 1960 champion in the flying rings. This, of course, Justin Spring from the Fighting Illini of Illinois. He was first in the qualifying session with a 9.7.
Yeah, Spring has a spectacular potential on this event. Really nice, high, tuck double somersault. He often does a pike double somersault, but he had good combinations of skills in this routine. Really aggressive. We saw him get off to an unfortunate start on the floor. He was a little shaky on the vault. He now seems to be in rhythm and starting to nail some routines. Look at that, 9.75. There you go for Justin Spring.
Let's go to the horse now. Willie Ito, we saw the 9.9. He's number 1 on the high bar, but twice on the horse this year he scored a 9.9 as well.
He can do a big routine here. They had a 9.475 from Ron Ferris so far. Grant Osborne a 9.275. Uh-oh, he's off. Well, this is a shock. Now, the pommel horse has been difficult for everybody. Look at this. He is really struggling. His rhythm was off. It seemed like after he made that first mistake, he couldn't regroup. This is disastrous. The other 2 scores are in the 8s. They had 2 low 9s to mid 9 scores. Remember, 4 out of the 6 scores go towards the team total. So this will put an enormous amount of pressure on their final guy, DJ Booker, who will have to go up last because this score will obviously be dropped after 2 falls. We're looking at a score that'll probably be in the 7s. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. You feel for the young man right there.
Especially for a guy who can rack up a 9.9. He's done. He said, I'm done. It's just unfortunate. You know, he is so brilliant on this event. It's hard to tell how he got off on his rhythm, but that's the nature of the beast. It will bite you.
A 7.150. Twice he's had 9.9s on the horse this year. Let's go to the vault now with Michigan. Great story, isn't this young man? He was almost cut. He was a walk-on. He wound up winning the national championship as a rookie.
Watch the difficulty in this vault. 2-0. Oh, unfortunate. Boy, it's amazing how many misses we've seen today. Normally, that 2.5 twister, he can drill it for a big score. That's a shocker.
Andrew DeJoria of Michigan, one-time national champion, getting a 9-0 on the vault.
Hi, my name is Justin Spring, and the NCAA 2005 Men's Gymnastics Final Rotation is next.
Welcome back inside the Holiday Center in West Point, New York. The Buckeyes of Ohio State came into the Nationals ranked number 1 in the country for the first time since 2002. Their goals, a Big Ten title and a national championship.
Team championship, that's eluded me since I've been in college. That's the main focus for me this weekend. And I want to get that ring before I graduate. All the individual stuff comes after that, but I really want that ring.
Well, Bart, we're heading down the stretch. You checked the standings. Remember, 2 years ago in Philadelphia, Oklahoma nipped Ohio State. It's going to be neck to neck, I think.
It sure is. This is going to be a thriller down to the last performance, I'm sure.
And the Buckeyes of Ohio State will be on the rings. The Sooners of Oklahoma on the vaults. And we're headed to the vault right now. James Myers, who used to train at the Bart Conner Gymnastics Academy.
Hey, way to go, James. He was one of 4 Sooners who had surgery during the off season. He's doing a good job here. Oh, no. That is a surprise. 8.7. A disaster for the first performer for Oklahoma on the vault.
Tough break. Let's go to the high bar. Nick Hand now, one of the tri-captains for the Fighting Illini, the senior out of Glen Ellen, Illinois.
We've talked all night about the importance of consistency after the rough time on the pommel horse. Illinois has picked it back up. Oh, no. Right from the start, he missed the first skill in the routine. This does a lot to the team's psychology because when the first guy makes a mistake, it really loads up the pressure on the rest of the guys because they know there's very little room for error for a good, solid team score. Generally, you want your first guy to be not necessarily flashy, but solid, so he sets a base score. That's unlucky.
Let's take another look at it. One of the tri-captains for Illinois.
This is one of those invert giant swings. You notice his hands were twisted. He regrasped and untwisted his arms and sets for the dismount. A little bit sloppy here and there in the form, and judges, they see all those little deductions.
A 7.750 for Nick Hand. Let's go back to the vault now. Taki Abdul-Simmons, only a freshman, one of the highest recruited freshmen in the country.
See what he can come up with. The score for Myers, a shockingly 8.7. Normally he's much better there. Uh-oh. A little bit low for him as well. He kind of drilled it. You notice he bent his arms onto the horse. 8.55. not what he wanted to do as well.
Wes Hagenson back on the high bar now for Illinois, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Bart, you talked about him twisting his ankle in warm-ups before the Big Ten championships.
All right, well, they need a good performance after that low score in the 7s for the first guy. A little sloppy there. Hagenson can be very aggressive and ambitious with his routines, and he's going for it here. Good for him. Yoshi Hayasaki excited about this very young team. About 60% of his scores come from freshmen. And so they're good this year, and they expect to be good for the next few years. A lot of depth.
A lot of pressure for a rookie, though, huh? Back to the vault. David Iamateo, the senior from Staten Island, New York.
Jake Messina, also from Oklahoma, had a 9.225. So we'll see if he can step it up here a little bit for the Sooners.
Oh, nice job.
Well, he did really fight for the landing. You got to admire him for that. A little sloppy in the air. But look at that spirit.
9.125. Back to the high bar. Justin Spring, the defending NCAA champ.
We could be in for a treat. Watch this routine. He finishes with a triple back. Very few gymnasts risk it. Watch some of these release skills that he does, Mike. Double over, full twist, and perfect form. That's a difficult skill to do anyway, let alone with perfect form. This is why I said he's one of the most electrifying gymnasts in the meet. You see how quick he is, and his moves are sharp and precise. Clean. Here comes a triple. I've seen him stick it before. Let's see if he's got one in him today.
Oh,
boom!
Nice job.
Isn't that something?
Definitely deserves another look.
Well, he was a little off today on certain elements. We saw him botch the floor routine a little bit, the vault. Struggled other places, but this routine was spectacular. And you can't do a triple much better than this. That is wonderful.
Justin Spring, a two-time All-American, junior year, a 9.9. He had a 9.7, the #1 qualifier in his session in the qualifiers. The defending NCAA champion, Dave Iamateo. He's a senior. He would love to go out as a champion. They finished 1.5 points behind Penn State last year. Welcome back to the U.S. Military Academy in West Point, New York. The NCAA championships, Coca-Cola, nothing like it. Jonathan Horton, one of the top freshmen in America. And Barty really came up big time for his Sooner teammates on the rings.
He sure did. You can see why they call him X Games. Everything this guy does looks like the extreme games. Talked about the key in gymnastics, your strength to weight ratio. And look at this power. Double layout with a full twist, and he drills it at the end. That was big. 9.775.
And that's not even his favorite event.
Most people would think that my least favorite event is pommel horse, but that's just my worst event. I actually enjoy doing it. My least favorite event is rings, even though that's one of my best. Rings is just hard on your body.
And we're heading right back to the rings. This time the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Cody Trabot, the senior co-captain from Dallas. He would really love to shine right now, Bart.
Boy, we have quite a battle going on here. Oklahoma knew coming into this rotation that Ohio State was unbelievable on the rings. Oklahoma was suspect on the vault. In fact, all year long, they've ranked only 9th in the country, their lowest apparatus standard on the vault. So this is going to come down to the last guy and the last landing. Good control, solid. They're really performing well over here on the rings. Stuck it. Cody says for good luck, he likes to leave the TV on in the room of the hotel before every meet. I guess it's on tonight.
I guess so.
Look at this dismount. There's a double in the tuck position, and he stuck it. That's what it takes to win championships.
He had a 9.425 at the Big Tens, a 9.650 for the senior co-captain from Dallas, Texas. David Henderson now getting ready for the vaults. So far, here's what's transpired for the Oklahoma Sooners.
You can see the scores there. As I mentioned, this is the lowest ranking event for Oklahoma. They know it. They're finishing on their weakest event, while Ohio State is finishing on one of their better ones.
Henderson, a three-time All-American, first in the vaults at the conference championships.
These last two vaulters are going to be critical. He looks calm. Doesn't seem to be overly hyped with the pressure of the moment. Nice.
Oh.
Very nice technique. Almost stuck it.
A 9.425.
What a score. Very nice in the air. Solid landing.
Woo. You know, Miles Avery, in his 8th year as the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, he's had some great gymnasts, but he says there's something special about Randy Monahan, his senior from Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania.
Randy in particular, I think in terms of his work ethic in the gym, he's a tremendous individual in the gym, and that is a great lesson as a coach to teach anyone. And I'm not teaching out there, just watch Randy do what he does.
Oh, Barty has been special. He has scored a 9.925 on rings. He's been the #1 on rings for 8 weeks.
I expect a strong performance for him here to finish it out for Ohio State. Get this, Mike, he says, for luck, he wears the same lucky t-shirt at every competition since 1997.
Since 97?
I hate to see that shirt.
It's almost like Pete Maravich's sock.
Boy, he's solid here. Beautiful positions. Body horizontal there. Good control through these strength moves.
The senior, he knows what's at stake, huh? You see the focus.
This is the kind of guy you'd like as a leader, as Miles Avery says. The guy who leads by example. Look at the control and the finesse in this handstand. Full twisting double out, and he sticks it.
Well, he sure did. 4-time All-American, Randy Monahan.
All right, here's that dismount. You get extra bonus points if you go for a high degree of difficulty move and you stick it, which he did. Big score. I think that they think they've won it.
Well, you can see the Buckeyes are excited. A 9.825 for Randy Monahan. Look at the Buckeyes.
They want to celebrate.
Will it be enough to give Miles Avery his second NCAA championship? Oh, just like 2 years ago in Philadelphia, though, when you worked that one. Jonathan Horton now was a senior in Philadelphia. Fernie now is a rookie.
You see, he needs a 9.3, just a freshman, and is coming down on his shoulders. Can he do it? Oh, that was nice. Expect a pretty good score because it was really nice technically. He didn't stick it, but I really like the mechanics and the form. He launches it up in the air beautifully, very high.
Remember, you said 9.3?
I think he's going to get more than a 9.3. I don't know how high it's going to go.
The Sooners are waiting with bated breath. He's got it!
Oh, 9.5. You know, I knew it'd be more than a 9.3, but I didn't think it'd go that high. But anything more than a 9.3 was enough.
Another national championship for the Oklahoma Sooners. Look at that reaction, huh? Third title in 4 seasons. Consider the fact in the last 5 years they've had 2 second-place finishes.
Incredible run for Coach Mark Williams. And what a shocker for the boys from Ohio State. I believe they thought they had it won after Monahan.
Look at the heartbreak, huh? 2 years ago in the Lacora Center in Philadelphia, Oklahoma won it with Fernie, the senior. Now Horton, the freshman, gets it done for Mark Williams. Mark Williams said right after the conference championships, things were clicking at the right time. You knew what he was talking about. Welcome back to the Hollander Center in West Point, New York. Smiles and jubilation for the Oklahoma Sooners, the men's gymnastics champions in 2005. How close? In the last 4 years, 3 championships. In the last 5 years, also 2 second-place finishes. 225-675 to 225-450. The Buckeyes head back to Columbus, heartbroken. Time now for the Pontiac high-performance moment. The freshman from Houston, Texas, Jonathan Horton, came up big on the rings, a 9.775. On the vault, he needed a 9.3. Horton gets a 9.5. The end result, a national championship. Let's go downstairs now. Bart Connor with the national champs.
All right, Mike. Well, I'm with the national champion, Oklahoma Sooners. Congratulations. right, Mark Williams, this is your third time in 5 years, and how does this compare to the other titles? This was a thriller, I tell you.
Yeah, I didn't think we had it until the last guy went. It's awfully special, and they never get old.
Well, congratulations. Now, Jonathan, you were the last guy who had to go. You're just a freshman. This is a remarkable team. Did you know what you had to do, and what were you thinking before you went for that vault?
I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just thinking about that vault and just trying to land between the lines. I knew it was super close, and I mean, it was crazy. I'm speechless. I don't really know what to say.
Congratulations, Oklahoma.
Thank you, Bart.
All right, Mike, we're back to you, buddy.
All right, thanks, Bart. It's been a blast. Now, the 2005 NCAA Women's Bowling Championship airs Sunday, April 17th at 5:30 on ESPN2. For a preview of the championship, visit ncaasports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. For Bart Connor and our entire ESPN2 crew, this is Mike Gleason saying so long from the Hollander Center in West Point, New York. Congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners, national champions. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.